Welcome to Joe Kirogo and Associates. My name is CPA-K Kirogo. One of our growing department is Company Secretary Services Department in our organization, and we thought it is wise we roll out the services that we offer here. And today we are talking about the entities formation that are formed through the Register of Companies, through the Attorney General's Office. And one of this is the company formation. And with company formation, we have the first one is a limited company. A limited company is a type of legal entity where the liability of its owners, their shareholders and members, is restricted to the amount of the investment that they have invested or guaranteed. This is the structure governed by the Companies Act 2015, and is one of the most popular forms of incorporation of businesses seeking legal protection and credibility. So what are the types of limited companies that are formed in Kenya? There are two main categories of these company formation. The first one is companies limited by shares, and the second one is the companies limited by guarantees. What do we mean when we talk about companies limited by shares? So the first one is one formation of company limited by shares is a private limited company, or what we call LTD. A company limited by shares is a liability of its members is limited by the memorandum to the amount, if any, unpaid on the shares representatively held by them. A private company is also a company that is restricted from inviting the public to subscribe to its shares. So a private company, it is a restricted company that does not invite the public to subscribe its shares or to become shareholders. The membership of a private company is restricted to an amount of 50 members. So formation of a limited company is 1 member to 50. Initially you would not form a limited company with 1 member. It was 2 to 50, but the Companies Act was repealed, so that now you can form a limited company with just a single member to a maximum of 50 members. So what are the features of the limited companies? It is that it is owned by up to a maximum of 50 shareholders. Shares are not publicly traded. They are not listed on the stock exchanges, so they are not publicly traded at the stock exchange market. It is also ideal for small and mid-sized enterprises, the SMEs. The second form of these companies limited by shares is the public limited companies, or the PLC. So what is a PLC? A public limited company is a type of company that allows its shares to be offered to the public and traded at the stock exchange. So that's the difference between a limited company and a public limited company. That will say that a public limited company, the shares can be offered to the public and also they are traded at the stock exchange. It is also governed by the Companies Act 2015, and it's ideal for large-scale businesses. Wherein we said about the limited company is ideal for the SMEs or small businesses to raise capital from its public so that to invest. The name must end with the expression of the PLC, or abbreviated as PLC or Public Limited Company. So which are the key features of the PLC? Shares transferability, so shares can be transferred freely or sold at the public. The second one is the public subscription. You can invite members of the public to subscribe to shares or debentures. So the third one is that it has a separate legal entity. You can own assets, enter into contract, sue or be sued. So PLC can enter into contract, it can be sued, and it can also sue. Also, limited liability, the shareholders are only liable to the maximum of the amount that they invest. So as much as it is a public limited entity, it has limited liability. So perpetual succession. The public limited company will continue to exist in regard to the changes on its ownership or the shareholders. So which are these keys requirement when you are registering for a PLC? The first one is that you have to propose name. Definitely you have to propose a name, and you have to submit maybe 3 to 5 name proposal of the names, and then it must end with PLC. And something that I can also mention is that these services are all done through the registration is done through a citizen portal. And the other one is that you need to have the company's objective. You clearly define the nature of the businesses and the activities. That is the objective of the company. The other one is the memorandum and articles of association. That one you can adopt. And for the memorandum and articles of association, when logging into his citizen portal, you can see that there memorandum and articles which are customized, so you can upload those which have been customized upon registration, or you can also maybe draft other memorandum or articles of association as must allow the public shares to be transferred and be subscribed. So shareholders and directors details. You need to give shareholders and directors details, and it has a minimum of 7 shareholders and 3 directors. That is the minimum requirement for formation of PLC. And definitely you give all the names, the ID, the KRA pin, the photos, and the contact information of these directors and shareholders. You also need to give the registered office address. You give the company secretary. So for a PLC, it is mandatory to have a company secretary, and you must appoint a company secretary. We saw that information when you are talking about the limited company. It is not mandated for you to have a company secretary. But what I can mention is that if a limited company has more than 5,000 shares, it is mandatory for you to also have a company secretary as a limited company. But for PLC, it is mandatory upon inception that you must have a company secretary. So, and also the nominal capital statement, declaration of the company capital, share capital, the share capital, that one is also a requirement. And there are forms that you're going to fill, and these forms you're going to get them through the Register of Companies, the Attorney General's office, and definitely these forms have been enacted on the Citizen Portal. So the first form is called CR1, that is a company registration form. The second form is CR2, it is a memorandum of association. The third form is CR8, a registered office notice. We also have another form called CR10, the director's detail, and we also have the famous form that we always know is called CR12. It is the form that shows the nominal capital statement. So the other entity formation is a company limited by guarantee. So what is a company limited by guarantee, or CLG? A company limited by guarantee is a special type of entity primarily used for non-profit organizations such as charity, foundation, clubs, and community groups. Unlike the company limited by shares, CLG do not have shareholders or share capital. So that's the difference between the company, the PLC, LTD, and also now the company limited by guarantee. That they do not have limited shares, but instead they are owned by guarantors. That's why it is called a company limited by guarantees, who commit to contribute a nominal amount, maybe maybe 100 minimum, if the company is owned up. The liability of its members is limited to the amount they agree to contribute to the company's asset if it is liquidated. So which are the key features of a CLG, the company limited by guarantees? So the first one that you mentioned is that there's no share capital that is required to form a company limited by guarantee. The second one is a limited liability, that members' liabilities are limited to the amount guaranteed in the event of liquidation. So also the other is non-profit focus. So as how we have defined the company's limited guarantees, that profits are invested in the organization objective and are not distributed to members, like how we talk about the limited companies that are focused on profit making. So for CLGs, they are non-profit making organization. So whatever that is maybe gotten in a surplus, it is reinvested back to the business or does other noble activities. The legal personality, it can own property, it can enter into contract, and can be sued, or it can sue or be sued. So what are the requirements of formation of this CLG, company limited by guarantees? The first one, you need to propose 3 names to the Register of Companies for approval, and then you need to state the objectives of this company. And also the other one must give the list of directors and members' details, that is giving their full names, their IDs, their KRA, their passport, their resident, where they reside, and the contact. The other one that we need to also come up with is a memorandum of association, which outlines the company's objective and members' responsibility. The other one you need to come up with a statement of guarantee which specify how much each member will contribute if the company is liquidated. And also you also have to give out the physical address of the company. The other one, you need to give the security vetting. All directors and members to undergo vetting by the National Intelligence Service. That is key to note, that for formation of a non-profit organization, that all directors must undergo the vetting by the National Intelligence Service, NIS. The last one is that these documents are all submitted through online portal, and if you need for us to give to advise you more on this, or to help you register this kind of formation of businesses that we talk about up there, the entities up there, kindly feel free to contact us through our content provided down there, and thank you very much.